Hey guys, the movie that we're going to recap today is about a playboy named Britt Reid, who becomes the new publisher of Los Angeles' The Daily Sentinel after the sudden death of his father. Britt's party life is about to change when he, his driver, and kung fu sidekick Kato stop a robbery, and with the help of Kato, Britt starts a new career fighting crime as the masked superhero, the Green Hornet. The Green Hornet is a 2011 American superhero film based on the characters created by Trendle and Fran Striker. To find out the whole story, make sure to watch the video right to the end. Let's start. The movie begins with James Reid, the publisher of the Daily Sentinel and Los Angeles' most prominent and respected media magnate. He and his playboy son Britt have a strained relationship. Britt is perfectly happy to maintain a directionless existence partying until James suddenly dies, apparently due to an allergic reaction to a bee sting. James' death leaves Britt his vast media empire. Britt knows next to nothing about his father's newspaper, and without him, Britt finds himself at a loss with the newspaper's employees, the meetings, or even how to manage his own mansion. Soon after James's funeral, Britt fires the entire house staff, aside from the house cleaner, and he eventually recalls Kato, who he only knows as the servant responsible for making his coffee. We learn later that Kato is also a master mechanic, martial artist, and was a personal aide and friend to James. For the newspaper, Britt hires Lenore Case as his personal secretary. The industrious and inventive Kato had long been working on James' prized cars. Finding their love of cars a common ground, Britt and Kato quickly become best buddies as they get drunk together. Upon agreeing that they both actually hated James because of his harsh temper, the two visit the graveyard, and Britt decides to do something impulsive and decapitates the public statue of his own father. But shortly afterwards, Britt witnesses a couple being mugged, and when he tries to stop them, he finds himself overwhelmed and beaten up. Luckily, Kato spots this, and seeing that his employer is about to get thrashed by several men, Kato quickly analyzes the situation and he fights them off. Later, the police mistake Britt and Kato for criminals when Kato evades them in a car chase. He then drives a very impressed Britt back to the mansion. Britt sees this as their chance to do something meaningful with their lives and convinces Kato that they should become superhero-like crime fighters. Britt, the bolder personality, takes a leading role, deciding to get close to the criminals. They'll pose as criminals themselves. This way, their enemies would be less likely to suspect their identities or try using hostages to take advantage. Kato develops a car outfitted with several gadgets and weapons, which they call Black Beauty, an indestructible car with equal parts firepower and horsepower. Britt plans to capture Benjamin Chudnovsky, a Russian gangster who is violently uniting all the crime families of Los Angeles under his command, and whom his father was trying to expose. To get Chudnovsky's attention, Britt uses the Daily Sentinel as a vehicle to publish articles about a high-profile criminal he first names the Green Bee, later renamed to Kato's suggested the Green Hornet, much to everyone's relief. In addition, to spread their fame, Britt leaves the criminals he meets a business card with an email. Britt then gets Lenore Case to research and predict the Green Hornet's criminal behavior and uses her unwitting advice to raise the Green Hornet's profile. Britt and Kato blow up several of Chudnovsky's meth labs, leaving calling cards so Chudnovsky can contact them. Throughout all of this, the Daily Sentinel's managing editor, Mike Axford, fears this single-minded coverage will endanger Britt's life, and District Attorney Frank Scanlon frets over public perception that he cannot stop the Green Hornet. Serving the law by breaking it, Britt becomes the vigilante the Green Hornet as he and Kato hit the streets, rolling in a mobile fortress on wheels and striking the bad guys with Kato's clever gadgets. The Green Hornet and Kato quickly start making a name for themselves, but tensions soon arise between the pair. Kato is tired of being ignored in the media and being dismissed as nameless thug, not to mention Britt's obsession with being in charge causing him to belittle and mock Kato as the mere sidekick. Britt asks Lenore out for dinner, but she rebuffs him and invites Kato out instead. Of course, Britt turns green with jealousy. Meanwhile, Kato learns from Lenore that mobsters often offer a peace summit to rivals in order to get close to kill them. Later, Britt tells Kato that Chodnovsky has offered them such a meeting. Kato tries dissuading him, but Britt, feeling overshadowed, recklessly proceeds. This nearly proves fatal when Chodnovsky tries to kill them by burying them alive. Fortunately, Kato manages to save them by blowing up the sand covering their car with one of his other gadgets, and they escape while also killing one of Chodnovsky's key men, Chili. Chodnovsky and his men attempt to shoot and kill the duo, but they escape. Back at the mansion, Britt and Kato start arguing and the two get into a terrible fight, causing Britt to angrily fire both Kato and Lenore, who he believes are in a relationship. Without his team, Britt agrees to meet up with District Attorney Scanlon in a restaurant. What he doesn't know is that Kato received an email from Chodnovsky on the Hornet's calling card email address offering $1 million and half of Los Angeles to the Hornet if he kills Britt publicly in a restaurant. Meanwhile, Chodnovsky, suffering a midlife crisis, has reinvented himself as the supervillain known as Bludnovsky. At the restaurant, Britt realizes that Scanlon is in league with Chodnovsky and that he tried to bribe James into downplaying the city's crime level to help his career, and he was responsible for the death of his father. Britt shows him a USB recorder he had used to record the entire conversation, but Scanlon is unmoved. As it turns out, Kato, in his masked persona, has arrived at the restaurant ostensibly to kill Britt for Chodnovsky and Scanlon. Kato appears in the restaurant and points a gun at Britt's head, scaring the other customers away, but for once Britt does not act recklessly in a tense situation. Finally, apologizing for his behavior, Britt convinces Kato of his sincerity, and the two turn against Scanlon just when Chodnovsky's men appear. The two escape, and Chodnovsky realizes that Britt is the Green Hornet. With Scanlon and many other gang members, they all chase after the Black Beauty. Britt dons his Green Hornet costume while Kato heads for the newspaper offices, intending to upload the recording of Scanlon's confession to the public. Pursued on all sides by Chodnovsky's men, Black Beauty takes a beating but gets the two vigilantes safely to the office, where everything descends into chaos, with the newspaper workers just trying to get out of the way of Black Beauty, Chodnovsky's men, and the police who eventually arrive on the scene. When they finally reach Britt's office, Kato holds off their enemies while Britt tries to upload the data. To his horror, there is no recorded data to be uploaded, but now Chodnovsky is holding Kato at gunpoint. Britt channels Kato's martial arts method, clearly analyzes the situation, and takes several of Chodnovsky's goons out of commission, while Kato blinds Chodnovsky. Before they could take care of Scanlon, the police arrive, and Scanlon quickly identifies himself and tells them to shoot the vigilantes. Unwilling to let Scanlon escape and expose their true identities, Britt and Kato drive what remains of the Black Beauty right into Scanlon and out through the window. Britt and Kato escape using the ejection seats that Britt once jokingly suggested Kato make. Their escape is not completely smooth, though. Britt has been shot, but is unable to go to the hospital without arousing suspicion, so they head to Lenore's home. After beating and pepper spraying them, Lenore realizes who they actually are and tries to help remove the bullet, but without proper equipment and training, Britt is wary to say the least. Together, the three of them hatch a plan. The next day, Britt Reid holds a press conference, claiming that the criminal Green Hornet had destroyed the office in his successful attempt to take Scanlon's life. Black Beauty suddenly bursts into the area, and a masked Kato declares that the Green Hornet sends the Reid family his regards, before shooting Britt and fleeing the scene. Lenore accompanies Britt to the hospital, while a police car chases after the Green Hornet's infamous black car. Of course, Kato's latest innovation is revealed as the car switches to a white color to throw off police suspicion before returning to its original black. Sometime later, Britt, in his Green Hornet outfit, arrives at Kato's house saying that they have a secret mission and that everything before was just total crap, and that this is the mission that really matters. The mission, reattaching the head to the statue of James Reid. Well, this is it for today's video. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.